All right, the fireman would be making sure that you had the proper pressure, which on this one, operating pressure is about 120 to 135. You would peek over and make sure he's done that. You're getting ready to take off, make sure the lubricator's
This is the
on.
fireman.
Right. The engineer is making sure the fireman is doing his job, not saying anything necessarily unless he sees something grossly wrong. And you make sure the lubricator is turned on, either the fireman or the engineer, before you take off. You would put the Johnson bar in forward position if you're going forward, and you would make sure the cylinder cocks are open. You would ease out the throttle while backing off the brake. As you feel it taking up, the steam expands. You'll feel it in the throttle as you pull it, and you give it a little, and you watch, and suddenly it'll begin to exhaust steam out the cylinder cocks, and then the wheels will begin to turn, and you carefully pull on it, not too hard because it will slip.
The throttle?
Yes, on the
Right,
throttle.
because it'll slip. Right?
Yeah, make sure your brake's all the way off, checking around you while you're doing all this, making sure nobody's trying to jump on or off the train, this kind of thing. Nobody's in front of you. I forgot, you're supposed to blow the whistle before you actually engage the throttle.
Okay.
And that's on signal from the conductor.
How many times?
2 times forward, 3 times reverse, short blasts.
So like, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, just to let people know I'm going to take off.
Sure.
Once it's moving and you've gone a few feet and you can see it's just steam coming out, then you would close the cylinder cocks. As it progresses, you would go and begin to ease the throttle out till you reach the speed that you need to be at, or you're trying to go faster or whatever. You would have to know where you are, what you're doing, how to set the throttle then. And you can ease the Johnson bar back, and it will become more efficient by shifting it back.
Why?
It changes what's called the cutoff,
Okay.
and it uses the expansive properties of the steam itself when you do this. On this
So
one,
the steam is becoming more efficient as you start to go down the line.
right, as you're moving along, it's in effect, it's not quite the same, but it's kind of like shifting a car or a truck. But it's different. It makes the steam work for you, so you use less steam.
So it's accomplishing the same thing as a gear change based on the expansive capacity of the steam itself.
Yes.
Wow.
This one only has 3 positions. Some of the big ones,
And
like,
this is on the Johnson bar.
yes,
Okay.
3 in reverse, 3 in forward.
Right, right. That would
And then
make
you'd
sense.
hit neutral,
Right.
which you don't want if you're going. But
Right. So Eric, you've driven this engine then?
oh yes, I was an engineer.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so you're certified then too.
Oh yes, I've
Okay.
been through it all. I was the main engineer, in fact.
And
Donald Cash.
Donald Cash. Donald, you're the fireman.
One of many.
One of many. Okay. How does the fireman's job look to you?
Can be frustrating.
Okay. Why? Because you have to put up with the engineer?
Well, not really. It depends on the atmospheric conditions.
Ah.
Some days firing is easy. Other days you use more steam, need more coal, it fires harder. The fireman has to keep a check on the water level,
Sure.
you know.
So
Make sure
you
that
control the water level?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going down, you open valves and let more water in?
Yeah.
And those go in with a steam injector, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And there's 2 valves to let water in. There's one on the engineer side and one on the fireman side. Have to have 2 injectors in case one fails. And so the fireman's job is you keep checking your fire, because when you start getting like a hole in the fire bed,
Okay.
you take and sprinkle some coal on top of that, because when you start burning holes in your fire, that can overheat the grates
Sure.
and cause them problems. And
So you want to keep the bottom part a little cool and the upper part nice and hot?
well, yeah, see the coal on the grates kind of insulates the grates a little bit.
Of course.
And also too, it's been a while since I've fired, like 3-4 years. And every so often, when we're packed, the fireman will take and shake the grates a little bit,
Okay.
you know, bring the ashes down, and then you kind of rake it out of the ash pit. The ash pit is right over there.
Okay,
See those doors
Sure.
on the side?
sure,
And there's a scraper, and we scrape it out. Because if the ashes build up in the bottom of the grate, under the grates, that too can cause them to overheat.
right, okay,
So pretty much and also the fireman is the left hand
of the engineer.
engineer in a way, because he keeps an eye out for what's going on. You know, let the engineer know if somebody's on the tracks or whatever.
So he sees, of course, the other side
Yeah,
of
and
the line.
the fireman is always is the left hand man, the left hand set of eyes.
Okay,
And as I said, firing, it's and you have to be careful how much you put on coal. You put too much coal on, and it kind of smothers your fire, so you'll stall your engine.
so there's an art to this.
Oh yes, it's not just throw coal on.
Okay,
You don't want maybe 3 inches, a layer about 3, maybe 4 inches.
okay,
But if you put too much coal on, you start getting smoke, and it's like a wood fire. You get a fire going nice and hot, you throw on a big piece of wood,
smothers it.
and it smothers it, and you lose heat. It's I don't know if you've ever used a wood burning cook stove.
Oh, yeah,
But it's like you put a big piece of wood on, the oven drops like a stone.
yeah.
And
Mama
it's-
doesn't like that because the soup won't cook.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with the locomotive boiler.
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay, you're
Right.
welcome.